Hi guys, Toby and Pete here from Outsight Creations, and we've just got back from a week in the Peruvian Andes filming some promotional video content for a trekking company called Peru.
Wex Photo Video asked us to put together a tips and tricks video while we're on our trip, so we're going to show you some of the gear and experiences we had along the way.
If you want to see more photography and videography related videos, click the subscribe button down below. We bought the DJI Mavic Air along on our trip and we've been really impressed with its performance. So we've put together a few tips for you to use with your own drone.
We found ourselves shooting a lot on dusty and uneven ground, so what we did to combat this was take off from the back of a rucksack, and this stops us getting dust on the lens and in the internals of the drone. Another thing we did was catch land. This is really good to stop the dust and also really helpful if you're on steep terrain. One thing you've got to do though is take off obstacle avoidance, otherwise it won't come down to you. We were doing a lot of trekking in the mountains on this trip, and sometimes we didn't have access to a mains power supply. So one thing that was really important for us was bringing a good USB power pack. Now we bought the OmniCharge 20, which is perfect because it packs a lot of charges and it has a really small form factor, so you can slip it easily in your bag.
The OmniCharge lets you charge bigger things like drone batteries and laptops, which really is a game changer compared to other smaller power packs. We found that it was quite heavy, but we felt this was justified due to the high amount of charges that it packs.
When hiking long distances, we didn't want to be carrying around a big heavy tripod. So what we did instead is we got the Manfrotto tabletop tripod and screwed a fluid head on top of this. This was really good because we could attach our telephoto lens to the tripod and get some really good long distance smooth shots.
We also found that if you didn't want to place the tripod down on the ground, you could hold it against your chest or your stomach, and that would help to stabilise the lens. When shooting on the go, as we were in the mountains, we wanted to spend as much time shooting and as little time fiddling around with settings.
To combat this, we used the custom function settings on our GH5. So what we did is we had custom function 1 for 24 frames a second 4K, and then custom function 2 for 60 frames a second 4K. And we have both these modes set to the color profile V-Log, which is really good for shooting in harsh light and color grading.
One tip we have when using mirrorless cameras like the Panasonic GH5 is using the electronic viewfinder. So when you're outside and you're shooting in bright sunlight, you can often get a lot of glare off the LCD screen, making it difficult to see what you're shooting. So we like to use the electronic viewfinder to really get focus and see what you're shooting.
It's also really good if you don't have space or you don't want to carry the weight of an external monitor. We brought our gimbal along on the trip, which is really good for getting long smooth shots, but one problem we had was the terrain was so rough we'd trip over or stub our toes. So what we did is we used two of us, and I'd put my hand on Toby's back and I would sort of lead him backwards, letting him know about any drops or rocks, and this helped us get smooth shots without any sort of damage to Toby or the equipment.
For the videos we were creating, we wanted to achieve quite a handheld look, but we found even with using the GH5's inbuilt image stabilization while tracking with it, it was a bit too jittery. So what we did was put it on the gimbal and did tracking shots, and then we'd add in the camera shake afterwards in post. We think this turned out really nicely.
We had an awesome time in Peru, and there were definitely lots of opportunities to get amazing cinematic shots. If you've got any questions about our gear or the trip in general, please write a comment down below.
We'll see you guys in the next one.